This program is produced by Eagle Mountain Apostolic Resource Center. To find additional episodes of this program, as well as other content, visit eaglemountain.tv.
The Bible says in Mark 1:28, and immediately his fame spread abroad throughout all of the region. God's releasing an anointing to make Jesus famous, put him on center stage. His fame really is spreading throughout the land. Come on, join me. Let's make Jesus famous. Hey everyone, welcome to my show, Jesus Famous, where we talk about the power and presence to make Jesus famous in every sphere of society. So we're gonna jump off for 12 minutes and do something profound, and that is to talk about your vertical window and your horizontal window. You might be going, wait, what are you talking about? Well, listen, let's start off jumping off with your vertical window. That is where you perceive the things of God. It is your spirit man connecting to God in the spirit realm and perceiving the things of his kingdom. Not just his written word, but his voice to your life. The ways of God, the will of God, perceiving the plan of God for your life, knowing and understanding his heart, his emotion, the way he feels about things. It's literally how you connect with Abba, Father. You and I need a vertical window that is so connected to God, so clean from debris and all of the mixture and all of those things. It is the spirit man window inside of you. And you might say, well, why the window? Well, there's also a window of the soul. It's more of the horizontal window, so to speak, whereby we perceive man. We can sense people's feelings. We can sense they're good, and we can sense sometimes they're bad, and we can sense the needs of people, and often get connected in healthy relationships, sometimes unhealthy relationships through sort of that window of the soul. And sometimes it's there too, that in healthy relationships where we allow people sort of into our heart. We allow them to survey what God's doing in us. And gosh, we just want people around us who are super connected to the Lord and able to stay also connected to people. Now, God gave us the ability to sense and to feel and to understand. Now, let's say though, that your vertical window begins to get debris on it. It gets clouded. It hasn't been cleaned, washed, those types of things. And the more that ability to perceive what God is doing begins to sort of shut down, if it's not sort of maintained, if it's not clean, if your relationship with God isn't current, then what will happen is the soul window will open even more, and you'll start to perceive the things of man. Your desire for relationships with man will become greater than your desire for relationships with God. You'll start to say things that you would have never said when your vertical window was open and operating. And next thing you know, you start to sort of, if you're prophetic at all, you'll start to prophesy into people's hearts. You'll feel what they're feeling, and you can run the risk of even prophesying into their desires more than, hey, what's God saying? You're sort of responding to what's coming off of them, so to speak. And gosh, next thing you know, your vertical window starts sort of closing and your horizontal window begins to open up. And that's where we can get into trouble. We were made to be sensitive this way. We were made to love relationships so much, but not more than we were made to walk with God and enjoy our relationship with Him first. And so if you're a high influencer and your horizontal window is open more than your vertical window, you'll take that gift of influencer and your strength will then become a weakness over time. So it's so important, especially for you influencers who just have a connection already, naturally, supernaturally with people, that you make sure that your vertical window is open more than your horizontal window, because that's where codependent relationships start. That's where all kinds of the need to fix and to be seen as the fixer. And I get so much joy from fixing in and of itself. Sometimes that's not wrong unless your vertical window is starting to close because your relationship with God isn't current and you begin to open up to horizontal relationships. And next thing you know, where it feels like, all right, these vertical or these horizontal relationships that I have are amazing. If your vertical window is not open, then these relationships will go unhealthy in no time. So I just want to encourage you and strengthen you by saying this. Your horizontal relationships depend on your vertical relationship. Silver and gold I don't have, but what I do have, I give to you. In other words, you can only impart what you have. Let me say it this way even better. You can teach what you know, but you can only impart what you live. So that's why we want to know what God's doing. We want to know it so much so to where we're actually living those things out. They've become every day. They've become a part of our lives. They become who we are because we've begun to absorb them into ourselves. So what does it look like to make sure that my vertical window is completely open? Well, I say this. It's sort of like going into a region, and you want to make sure that the region is cleansed, it's pure, it's holy, that what God is doing there is seen without mixture and all of that sort of thing. You just say, Lord, not only would I go into a region and cleanse the atmosphere, God, I just ask that you would cleanse my eyes to see you. It's what Paul prayed in Ephesians. Open the eyes of my heart. Cleanse them, Lord. If there's anything in my vertical window, so to speak, my ability to perceive God that is tainted and causing me, because of the pain of the past, not to see you well, not to see you clear. Maybe I got mad at you because you didn't show up for me in a season of life like I thought you should. Maybe someone else abandoned or abused me, and I've got these cloudy areas in my vertical window. Then Lord, cleanse those. Wash those right now. Wash me clean. Wash my eyes so that I can perceive you, and let all the sensitivities that have maybe grown cold or calloused, Lord, begin to live again. And I call those sensitivities to you and to your presence to live again right now. Any dry bones inside my spirit, I just say, live right now. You know, that kind of thing. Pray that kind of prayer and just ask the Lord, Lord, expand my vertical window. Give me great peripheral vision, not just what's in front of me, but what's all around me, what you're doing. I want to see you everywhere. And you begin to do that, suddenly your peripheral vision will begin to grow, and you'll start to see him everywhere. If maybe you're, because through pain or wounding or just not knowing, your horizontal window is bigger than your vertical window, and you're like, Bobby, that is me. Listen, we all do that sometimes. And so you just go, Lord, I love the friends that I have. They're in and of themselves. That's not bad, but I understand my horizontal window is way bigger than my vertical window, or maybe just slightly bigger. Then you go, Lord, I'm not asking you to necessarily shut down my horizontal window, but I do want it cleansed. If I'm in any relationships without purpose and the priority of the kingdom, Lord, then cleanse those relationships. If I'm in any relationships that are weird, tainted, codependent, all of that sort of thing, Lord, cleanse my horizontal window through which I see the heart of man. If I am prophesying to the desires in men more than prophesying out of the vertical window, Lord, change that in my life. I want to prophesy from heaven to man. And I see that because this window is not as open as this window, I'm more prone to see this way than I am to see this way. Lord, let my relationship with you be first. Lord, I want to show up even better for my friends. And how can I do that if my vertical window is not wide open and clean and cleansed? So do that, Lord. Now, all kinds of people have prayed that kind of prayer. Lord, cleanse my unbelief, open the eyes of my heart. God told the church of Laodicea, hey, you need eye salve for your eyes. I mean, all of that sort of thing. For Peter, who had the trance at Simon the tanner's house, he was like, nope, I'm not going to eat anything unclean. His vertical window was a bit tainted. And the Lord was like, hey, don't call anything that I've called clean unclean. Don't do it. You're seeing from the wrong perspective. And then suddenly he had an upgrade and went to Cornelius' house and brought the gospel to the Gentiles. First time ever. But he had to get an upgrade in his own perspective. So even he needed his eyes to be clean. Lord, cleanse my eyes. Let's make sure that our horizontal window is bright. We're loving people well, but it cannot be bigger than our vertical window. And if you find that it is, then yeah, just do some prayer. Just do some homework and talk about that and recognize that the vertical window, the horizontal window that we think we have is actually limited if we are not connecting to the Lord in our vertical window. So why do I use the word window? Again, I just think that they're places through which we get to see God. Windows go both ways. And they're places that he gets to see us. If you're hiding a part of your heart because of pain, then clean off the window. Maybe you need cleaning from the underside. Your relationships will depend on your vertical window being open, and the healthiness of those relationships depend on that. So blessings on you as you perceive the things of God and perceive the things of man, and perceiving the things of man will always go better when you first perceive the things of God.